Okay, that was fun, huh? Really proud of our guys for responding. You know, we talked all week about how our A game is good enough to play with anybody in the country, but that our C game isn't, and it's not good enough to really beat anybody of substance. That was a really good football team. Riding a lot of momentum off 2 double overtime wins. Coming in with their only loss being to Ohio State, and I was really proud of the way that we came out. I thought we played our A game for the first quarter and a half, and then we let it slip a little bit there towards halftime. They tied it up. We came out, piddle-pattered around on offense a little bit in the third quarter, but defense held, and then I think we got some momentum definitely from our offense, and then you know, the bad news is a couple things I am disappointed in. One, penalties. You know, we've been one of the least penalized teams in the country for half the season, and you know, we committed way too many penalties tonight at very costly times in the game. Again, I got to go back to the drawing board a little bit with some of these pass interferences and targetings and late hit out of bounds. I'm not sure that you know, for all you young coaches out there, be careful if you say you want to coach defense, because I'm not quite sure how to coach it anymore without being penalty free. But we're going to figure it out, because it's not going away. And you know, third down, we were okay on offense, 10 of 18. So you know, not terrible, above 50%, but boy, on defense, that's not to our standard. 14 of 20 is 70%. They converted on third down. We've got to do a much better job getting off the field on defense. But at the same time, we're really banged up. Got a lot of guys in there playing very meaningful snaps that, quite frankly, a few weeks ago we didn't plan on them playing. So we've got to get those guys up to speed, playing better, because we've got a long season ahead, and some of these nicks and bruises and banged upness, it's not going away, and we've got to manufacture some quality depth. But overall, pleased with our fight, pleased with how we responded to adversity all night long. You know, our guys, you know, I told them all that you're going to get their best shot. You've earned that. Everybody on your schedule is going to play you with their A game, and we've got to understand that, and understand that even when we're up 17-3, that we can't take our foot off the gas, because teams are not going to go away lightly. They're going to keep swinging. So proud of the way that we did respond, but knowing that we've got to do a much better job if we want to achieve the goals that we've got in front of us.
Tom, can you take us through your range of emotions, first on the full return for touchdown, and on your stop at the 1-yard line with the game absolutely on the line to those situations?
Yeah, I don't know that I ever really had emotions during the game. It's difficult, because you as a head coach, you've got to plan the next move, you know, and so you've got to prepare the defense to go back out there and play defense up by 7, and then the last stop, you know, regardless of the review, us standing there staring at the scoreboard is not going to change the review. So I wanted to make sure that our offense had a good overtime plan, and that our defense, that we were ready to go block the PAT. So I didn't really have a whole lot of emotion, just because you got to calculate the next move, and you know, that we'll let the kids have the emotion.
Okay, what were your emotions when it was over? It was 0-0, and the ref said it was done.
Really excited for our guys. Really excited that you know, they could take a punch in the face, so to speak, and respond. And just again, it's another example of winning is really, really hard, and you should never ever take winning for granted. So I'm excited as heck. We're going to celebrate the heck out of this one. Celebrate the heck out of it. There's a lot of lessons to be learned, and it's really good to learn those lessons with a win. But understanding this very short-lived, we got to get back up tomorrow and get ready to play our rival at their place, who's coming off a bye week, getting ready for us.
Tom, first of all, on the stop there at the end, two guys that haven't, kind of different roles. You know, Meke wasn't starting a few weeks ago, and then Austin kind of come along as he transferred. Those two guys to be in on that last play, what you thought, and then do y'all work on that in practice where you have like a goal line pass at the end, that kind of stuff?
There's, they came in with, extra tackles, extra tight ends, extra fullbacks, no wide receivers, and, in order to do that, you've got to expect the run, and so we substituted in a bunch of guys that quite frankly hadn't played defense all night. Emil Fleming, true freshman, was in there at defensive line, and then obviously Austin Robinson. Sorry, Austin. One of our 4 pillars of success is competitive focus, which means when your number's called, you're trained properly to go make the play. And credit to our defensive staff, and credit to Austin and Emeke for definitely adhering to one of our pillars of success and being ready when their number's called.
Tom, can you explain Terrell Williams' ejection or what was told to you within the bounds of the conference rules?
You did that on purpose, huh?
Trying to give you some cover?
I know. No, I can't. I can't explain it. I don't understand the rule. I've got to do a better job of, like I said, of coaching defense. When a defender finds a target on a receiver or a ball carrier and uncoils, so to speak, he can't stop at that point. He cannot stop. And in the split second, that target might change. And, it was my understanding that, and I understand why the rule is there. It's for player safety. But I don't understand how that one is targeting and the one on Chance Allen isn't. That was helmet-to-helmet contact and wasn't called, so I've got to do a good job of refreshing myself on exactly what the rules are, I guess. And to answer the second part of your question, there really was no explanation given to me.
Tom, can you walk us through the decision to punt and put the defense back on the field late?
It was 4th and I don't know the situation, but their offense was playing really good at the time, and to give them that kind of field position, I believe the ball game was tied at that time, and so only needing 20, 30 yards to get in a decent field goal range, it was a no-brainer for me to try to pin them. Wish we'd have had a bit of a better kick. It was inside the 20, but from that distance, probably should have been inside the 10. But that was a no-brainer for me, knowing that they only needed a field goal to win the game.
What did you think of your defense on the fumble return for the touchdown, and there was a lot of people involved in that play?
Yeah, it was about time. We've done such an unbelievable job here in the past years of creating turnovers, and we haven't for whatever reason this year. And I think it was Garrett that made the strip. Just kept fighting. The quarterback did a nice job moving around in the pocket, and Garrett was shielded by some really big, good offensive linemen, and he kept fighting and stripped the ball out. And Meke was, again, because of his relentless effort, was around the football and scooped it up, and then, it was off to the races. Guys, again, did as they're trained and looked up opposite colored jersey, made sure they blocked them above the waist and in front, and Meke did the rest.
After the struggles defensively last week and at stretches tonight, do you think their confidence is a little bit shaky at this stage, and can you build that up through the course of a week, getting it back on the practice field and getting it ready for next week?
I don't think so. I mean, they ran for under 100 yards, and we're built to stop the run. We've got to get better against the pass. Last week, from a defensive standpoint, you flushed that. I mean, your defense is so different defending the triple option that we'll worry about that the next time we play a triple option team. But it has no bearing on the way that our defense plays tonight, because it's the alignments, the assignments, the techniques are all different. And so I didn't sense any doubt from our defense. It's apparent we've got to get better at our pass defense and our coverage. But you know, again, as statistics go, we dodged a statistic tonight, which is, you know, win or lose against Navy over the last 3-4 years. Teams are, you know, their winning percentage is awful. The week after Navy, I know in 2014, I think teams were 1-11 the weeks after they played Navy, win or lose. And I don't know what the stat is this year, but I'm proud of our defense for getting so banged up in that game against Navy, and then having, you know, to readjust your entire defensive scheme in such a short week. And that's a really good offense. Really tough to defend because of their scheme and the way they spread the field, but we know we got to improve. There's no doubt about that. But to do it coming off the week, having, you know, after playing Navy, I thought was very good.
What did you think about Oliver Wade for you tonight, and specifically his knack for batting down passes?
Say it again.
What Ed Oliver did for you tonight, and his knack for batting down passes?
Yeah, he's always around the ball. You know, he plays with relentless effort, and you know, everybody wants to point to, again, I'll say, to his physical tools, which are obviously exceptional. But the thing that makes Ed Oliver is his tenacity and his motor, and you know, that guy goes full speed from snap to whistle every single play that he's in. And if he can't get to the quarterback, again, he's got a knack for jumping up and batting balls down. And again, we needed it because we had some guys open when he did that.
Any update on Rogers, Allen, and Taylor?
Rogers, Allen, and
Taylor,
no, and you can add Matt Adams and who's it? Oh, Gerard Carter to that list. Gerard got a stinger, so he was in street clothes by the end of the game. Something that recurred a couple times during the game, so we've got to get him healthy. Matt took a shot on his shoulder, and we tried to get it treated up during halftime, and went out there a couple different times, but wasn't very effective. So Natai was an ankle, obviously. Chance's a neck right now. Who was the other one? Steve is an ankle and a hand. Got his hand smashed in between two helmets. So we're pretty banged up, but SMU's not going to care. They're not. So we got to figure out a way to get healthy and figure out a way to get the guys behind those guys that are banged up and get them ready to play.
Tom, can you take us through you touched on some, the communication going on between the sidelines and your players, between you and Tart Orlando, and all the things y'all are trying to accomplish, get information to your players in those final seconds there when they make those critical plays to keep them out of the end zone?
Just trust your training. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of, hey, if they do this, we do that, because you don't know on defense. You've got to play the call that's given to you, and trust your training and technique that you'll be able to make the stop when necessary. And so that's all we did. Just reminded them, hey, you don't got to be superhuman. Just trust your training.
Coach, we played the secondary, a big touchdown. Was that a blown coverage? Was the safety supposed to have the over-the-top container?
Yeah, it was missed communication between the corner and the safety, and something that, you know, we've got to get fixed versus up-tempo teams. That's one of the areas that they can get you is, you know, they snap the ball so fast that if you guys, you know, it was one of just a few miscommunications we had tonight. The other times they didn't capitalize, but that time they did, and so we've got to make sure that we cut that number down to 0, because we're going to play an up-tempo team this week in SMU as well.
Tom, you've had significant wins here. Where does this one stack up?
They're all significant, especially at home. You know, our guys are undefeated now in the last 2 seasons at home. This place is special, and thank you to all of our fans and students, alumni and supporters that came out and you know, made this truly a home field advantage. And it is so neat to have the ESPN sideline guy told me, man, this is you know, this was pregame. he said, "This place is rocking, man." I said, wait till the ball kicks off. And to have a guy that's, you know, goes to, you know, countless of venues over the course of a year, tell me that, I was proud of our fan base for really being a part of the game and helping us win the game.
Good. You check your BP?
Say it again?
You check your blood pressure?
No, I'm good.
You good?